Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Sports Game Day. We've got a great slate of games for you this morning, this afternoon, and this evening. We got Florida, UCF, 7:45 kickoff, Clemson, FSU, we'll be talking about, and Alabama versus Vanderbilt. Representing Alabama, of course, our man Ty Hayes off a big W against the Dogs. I was wrong, almost right, but I ended up ultimately being wrong.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game. By about halftime, I was texting some of the guys, and I was like, "I'm ready for this game to be over. Let's
wrap
go
this
ahead
thing.
and leave. I'm stressed out. So glad to get the win, but excited about this game.
I love it. This show, ladies and gents, is brought to you, of course, by BetUS. Another one we got here today is a special guest, one of my favorite content creators, Tim Kalinowski. Did I get it right?
Close enough. Kalinowski.
Kalinowski. What is going on, Tim? Happy to have you. I'm pumped to have you on. You're busy. You're at every game, it feels like, every week, every great game. I'm glad I was able to squeeze you in this week.
Yeah, it's it's a bye week for me. It was 3-4 straight on the road. Was just at obviously the Alabama-Georgia game, which was pretty incredible. Every week it seems like I go to a better game. I'll be seeing your Gators next week at Neyland Stadium.
Oh my goodness! And you got to go to the Colorado game where they walked it off against Baylor, which when they rushed I mean, you've seen them all this year, and hopefully maybe there's a big upset next week for Neyland, and we get to have that too.
No. I don't want to see an upset. Maybe come down to the wire. I'm rooting for those Vols.
Oh, all right. It's good seeing you, bud. So you're repping the. That's right. Real quick, just to let everybody know, Tim's a big Clemson guy, but he's a college football guy first. You could probably argue, and he's got a slew.
Yeah, I would say I'm a college football anthropologist, I would say. Wherever I go, I insert myself in the culture to get an understanding.
I love it. He was Bear Bryant last Saturday. He'll be Josh Heupel this Saturday or next Saturday. I love it. And then, of course, we've got our man representing the UCF Knights today, little bro, Cowboy Ty. What's going on, Ty? Tyler?
Oh, not much, but look, I just got on everyone's good side, and then you make me represent the UCF Knights today. So now I'm just going straight back down the hole. So here we go. I'm ready.
I love it. We got to talk about this game, and we didn't have any of our Gator content creators. Allie Peak, she was busy this morning. But let's dive into our first game. We'll be back here, Ty, and obviously around the table. We'll see you guys in a minute. But let's get into the first game. We've got Vandy versus Alabama. Bama coming off a big win. I'm not saying Vandy's going to be a trap game. I can't. I wish you guys had a game like Auburn, because that could be an interesting one. You should handle your business against Vandy. What are you looking for today, Ty, and Bama versus Vandy?
Yeah, I think they need to cover because I almost disagree. I think this could be a trap game. When you look at it, Vandy, the one thing I will say is they play with a lot of heart. I mean, this is a Vandy squad that doesn't quit, and they've played people close. They got the big upset over Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, one of the most senior teams, if not the most senior team in Power 4. Diego Pavia has walked into big-time environments before and slayed the giant. Hell, he did it last year with New Mexico State when he beat Auburn. You know I had to get that one in there. I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't point out that win. So, and then to top it all off, man, remember, Nick Saban gave them a little bit of food. He said not long ago, everywhere in the SEC is hard to play, except Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt's looking at this, and to them, they see the Alabama Crimson Tide as a major opportunity. That's why, in my opinion, Alabama needs to cover today or get damn close to doing so. You had an emotional win last week. I don't know if you saw it. You had some of the staff members on this coaching staff put rat traps around Mal Moore. Like, they are very much trying to have that next game mentality, and I think it's very important to do so.
You have to, and I love that. I said that, I think, on one of the shows that they all start to blend together is that, look, outside of maybe Mississippi State, I feel like they're easily the worst team in the SEC. All of these teams can sneak up on you and find a way to get it done, right? Vandy, and maybe Vandy, but Vandy's look good. They made the upset early on in week 1. We've got Florida that could easily upset somebody. I don't know if they've really established any dominance, right? But Auburn, I think, is going to give some fits to Georgia today. The SEC is in a very fun and healthy place. Although you still have your top dogs, these guys are scratching and clawing. Give me your breakout player and keep your breakout player in mind because he might come up later on in the show.
Yeah, I think it's Jalen Milroe. The evolution we have seen from Jalen Milroe last year to Jalen Milroe this year is incredible, and it really goes to prove the impact of a competent offensive coaching staff. You have so many guys on this staff. You remember a few years ago whenever Bailey Zappi was at Western Kentucky lighting it up? Well, his quarterback, offensive coordinator, and passing game coordinator is the tight end coach for Alabama. Then you have Kalen DeBoer. You have Nick Sheridan. You have Jamarcus Shepard, who was the passing game coordinator over at Washington. All of these guys have had a hand in working with Jalen Milroe, and now you look, and he's lighting it up. No, he doesn't have the most yards, but that's also because some of those first games, he'd pass the ball 9 times and be at 200 yards, and they'd be like, all right, next. So in this game, the reason why I highlight Jalen Milroe is because just when you think you have the perfect coverage on the back end, he takes off running. And he outran Georgia several times. He is such a dynamic player, and the step up he's taken this year has proved that he's easily one of the best players in all of college football.
He looked fantastic on Saturday. Really happy for him. I've given him a lot of flack, right? I'm sure a lot of people have. Of can he play that quarterback position? Kalen DeBoer said it, I think, on the Monday show, is probably the best thing that's happened to him. It's almost like the Jalen Hurts situation where he played at Alabama, goes to Oklahoma to kind of play into his situation a little bit more versus just what Saban ran was more of that just position situation quarterback. I think this has been huge for his career in developing and going into the NFL. So loved how great he looked. He looked extremely calm and confident. And be able to go down that last drive and toss to the 17-year-old to get the last minute touchdown, you got to love it. You got to love it. Big W last week again, of course, for Bama coming off that high. And that's very easy to get a little sleepy. But I have seen some clips where the coaching staff is very aware of the situation they're tiptoeing in. So will be a fun one, a 4 p.m. kickoff, 22, 23-point favorites Alabama are, and you think they should cover that?
I think they need to, right? I just think from a mentality standpoint, that's a huge win. Nick Saban's gone. I mean, last week we talked about who this win meant more for, and I was adamant that it was Kirby Smart because if he loses, it's not that he has a Nick Saban problem, he has an Alabama problem. Well, they just got that win in front of something like 100 recruits. Some of the top players in 25, 26, and 27 were there. I think it's easy to kind of fall asleep this week against a decent team. I know they're not a world beater, but they can beat you. I think they need to cover.
I want to say, I'm pulling this up right now, Georgia just lost a decommit right before the show. 2025 defensive lineman.
Who?
I thought I saw, but it looks like it's been deleted.
Saturday morning.
It's been deleted. It was on Hayes Fawcett 2025. Keep looking it up. I'll get there in just a minute. Ty, you got obviously Bama to win here and to cover. Appreciate you as always. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully we'll see some Blake Hayes later on. Ladies and gents, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Good morning to you on this high top game day. Beautiful Saturday. We are headed into Clemson now versus FSU. Should be an interesting one. I've got Clemson by 1 billion, boys and girls. Tim, how do you feel about this game, man, today?
So that's exactly what scares me right there. I have not heard one person on Florida State, backing Florida State in any which way. Like, look, do I feel really good about Clemson, the way that they've responded since the Georgia game? Do I feel good about the fact that, it's kind of a statement game for Dabo to say, hey, you got, how's that portal working out for you, Norvell? You got DJ Uyunglele, you got my used luggage over there, and I'm trying to build it a different way. And a year ago, I'm getting bashed for not doing so and not adapting the times. How did that go? I'm going to go down there, throw, win by 3 touchdowns in Tallahassee to a crowd that, might be heading for the exits early, if not, barely showing up at all. So, I'm worried about exactly that. The fact that I don't know one person that said, no, one last life for Brock Glenn and Florida State Seminoles here. That's again, I have not found one person taking the other side here.
Well, we got Ty. He's an FSU fan, and he did not take them either. He was on our Pick'em show on Wednesday. He goes, there should be more points. I think 14 isn't enough. We should get more. So you're right. Nobody is. And look, I think you've lost, obviously, DJU. And although I think DJU, people were done with him when they saw Brock come in and go 0 for 4. Like, okay, maybe we bring back DJ. DJ's out. Richie Leonard's out. And just on top of that, they haven't looked like they could find a rhythm. Look at the total yards or total points, 78. I think Tennessee did that in one game this year.
It's an absolute mess. And just to put in perspective, so from where this season started to where we are now, Florida State over the summer for this game was a 3.5-point home favorite to Clemson. Clemson is now laying 15.5 at Florida State. So the books are obviously adjusting accordingly, but think about that from our preseason assumptions. I thought this was supposed to be the redemption tour. I thought this was supposed to be, now, 12 teams. Now you really can't leave us out of the playoff here. So look, I do have a lot of respect for Florida State. I think I love it. Like playing at Florida State is always a cool thing. You got to watch the beginning, the tradition, the Seminole. They always have the away team come out of the smallest tunnel in the entire world, which I always appreciated. But look, this is hopefully a statement game for Dabo. And I'm hoping by about 9:30 tonight, I can go, you said that Clemson was dead. You said he wouldn't use the portal. How's the redemption season now? That's what I'm hoping for.
I do love it's a great tale of two tapes. So again, one who really hammered the portal and Norvell got praised for it. There was some criticism like, hey, you can't just live off of it. But because it was the new way, the new age, he didn't get nearly as much criticism as Dabo got for completely ignoring it. And now Clemson's in here after that atrocious loss against Georgia. They're the ACC favorites as of now. I do want to get your breakout player, though, or X factor for today's game in Clemson.
Yeah, it's freshman wide receiver Bryant Wesco, and really he only has 7 receptions on the season. You're like, okay, what does that do? Wesco is indicative of this Clemson team, this Clemson, wide receiver core that has not, lived up to the likes of Mike Williams, to, Sharon Peak, Sammy Watkins, Martavis Bryant, DeAndre Hopkins. So, and Clemson hasn't been going in the portal. So this is a homegrown guy, right? True freshman comes in early enrollee in January. And what this guy represents is a guy that can take the top off the defense. He's a speedster and finally putting pressure on defenses. This Garrett Riley offense, Cade Klubnik, we were kind of scratching our heads watching that Georgia game opening night going, what has changed? I don't see anything different about this team. Wesco only plays 10 snaps in that game. Little by little, he's been playing more, and he's been impactful. And again, so this is kind of indicative of us as Clemson fans saying, can we get a recruit that reminds us of Sammy Watkins, right? Can we get a recruit that reminds us of Ray McLeod? And I think Wesco is supposed to be the next guy to do so. And when he's been on the field, his probably snaps to yards ratio is probably the best in the country, this guy. So when he's been on the field, he has indeed been impactful.
TJ Moore is there too, right? Freshman wide receiver.
It's been also too Antonio Williams, kind of like he's been injured, not injured, and they've been using the tight end as well. So it's been little by little, but we're just waiting for Cade to feel more comfortable in this offense, and not just comfortable, really drive the ball and push the ball down the field, which it was like watching a different sport when they came out and responded against Appalachian State.
TJ Moore was somebody that Florida was heavily involved with again with DJ Lagway. So I was very involved with his recruiting and watched him and then saw him do what he did in that high school game. That kid is an absolute freak too. So that offensive,
not to cut you off. It was him or Wesco to pick. They're kind of in the same exact boat of representing that. Hopefully that next wave of stud Clemson receivers.
I love it. Hey, real quick, there's always a debate with the entrance for FSU and Clemson. We got the rock petting and Dabo running a 4-4 sprint down the hill, or the horse coming onto the field. And you just kind of gave credit to FSU's intro. Who has the greatest interest out of those two teams? I mean, obviously, look, even though he's a Clemson fan, guys, I like to think Tim is like you said, you're an anthropologist of college football. You have a good respect for the game.
I really, really do. I lean Clemson, although it's really, really tight. It's really, really close. I do love this whole Seminole thing with the, right at the 50-yard line. I would just say my biggest pet peeve about all of them is that TV too oftentimes doesn't do a good enough job of showing it to start a game. Like if you're Clemson, you go to Florida State every other year. I want the full production in seeing it on my TV. And that would be my critique, rather than picking one of the traditions I like better, which is Clemson's, but show us it on TV. Stop going to commercial.
Let us get it. I love it. Look, I'm a big guy petting the rock too. I'm biased. I'll keep it a buck. I'm extremely biased, but I still love it. Tim, don't go anywhere. We'll bring you back for a high top table talk. Good seeing you, man. Great stuff. Ladies and gents, we got to get into our pick'ems for the week. I have not done well since I fired Cowboy Ty from this segment because he was doing so poorly. I've not done any better. I've been missing a few here. But these I feel really good about. I felt really good last week, but I feel really good about it. Of course, this show is brought to you by BetUS. And when you use the code YouTube150, you get back 150% on your first two deposits and $125 on your third, up to $2,000. We've got Mizzou at A&M. A&M's favored by 2.5. Give me Mizzou money line. I like it. I think Mizzou has an opportunity to get things done to prove that, hey, we are legitimate. We should be respected as one of the big dogs. People aren't giving enough love. Their schedule hasn't been very hard. This is their first true test. We'll see how they do. Boston College, I guess you can say, was a test, but let's not get crazy. Clemson plus 15. You heard Ty say it. You heard Tim say it. He doesn't want it to be like this, but it should be 21. They're giving this away. This is an easy grab. Clemson plus 15. And then Auburn, Georgia. Auburn's at Georgia minus 24. I know that the books think that Kirby's pissed, and Kirby's pissed. Kirby's going to come out there and whoop some ass today. But Auburn they're licking their wounds. They have to bounce back, too. They've got to find something. Hugh Freeze, the strippers aren't working, big guy. They don't come onto the football field. They only help recruit. You got to play better. I think Georgia gets it done. I like 28-10. 24 just seems like a ton. This is your parlay for the week. It's an absolute lock. Screw your kids' college tuition. Lock it in on this, boys and girls, at betus.com. Use the code YouTube150. Now let's dive into the game of the night. 7:45 kickoff with our man, Cowboy Ty, representing little brother and the UCF Knights. You keep talking about this game. You're excited about it. How we feeling, big guy?
Well, first off, I just want to say that the X on my face, I still love it. I think it's a great tattoo. Second of all, we're going to talk about the UCF Knights here, and we're going to talk about this game, and I think we're going to see a lot of scoring tonight. And the reason is because, well, Florida's defense is about 111th in total yards, and there's a man that we're going to talk about later who I've been excited about since week 0. Two guys that I loved in week 0 are Gadsden and the other guy I'm about to talk about here soon. But Florida-wise, I hate the fact – I don't like the fact that they're running the two-quarterback system. We talked about this earlier. I would like to see them just stick with one. I said this before. I think sometimes coaches are too nice. And by that, I mean they want Mertz because he's a senior and they want him to give his opportunity. And but he doesn't do what Florida needs right now. And that's you need somebody electric to score points. Like Mertz was great when he was, he's not going to make mistakes, but he's not going to make electric plays when you need to score because your defense can't hold anybody. So, in that standpoint, I think you need to outscore people than trying to, win a 31-17 game or like a 17-20 game, something like that. So I would love to see them stick with Lagway and just say, here, this is your job. Go make things happen. And if it don't work, then you can bring Mertz back in. But from that standpoint, I would love to see them just stick with one of those guys.
I think the A&M game allowed for Mertz to separate himself from DJ. I was a big fan of DJ, but Mertz has done his job thus far. And I think right now they have a nice, healthy combo. I agree with you. You want to get into a rhythm. I think the way they handled it the last game before the bye, having set plays for DJ to come in was probably the best because now both quarterbacks know that, hey, I'm taking this round off. I'm coming in versus just like this back and forth ping pong effect to it. So we'll see how they utilize that today. I think if I had to guess, Billy, what he does is going to have that. But look, offensively, Florida has not had an issue offensively. We want to get frustrated when we want to do these things because it's not sexy and it's not popping off. But I think passing-wise, or top 20 or top 25 in the country, where we suck and where we continue to be atrocious for the last 2 years, 3 years, is defense. You have to show up against this team, against UCF, who has ran the ball over everybody. And that kind of translates into who your playmaker, X factor of the day is, RJ Harvey.
Yeah, so it's not very often that you get a guy who leads your team in receiving and rushing. RJ Harvey is that guy. And the dude is absolutely electric. I mean, at any point, he can go 75. I think he took a 75-yard touchdown last week, if I'm not mistaken. It was a catch, run, screen, gone. Didn't even have a chance. When you watch this kid, he does just everything you want in a running back. And by that, I mean, he has great vision. He has a great feel for the game. He can also, He can also protect the quarterback. They don't want to obviously throw the ball because that's not who Gus Malzahn is. And moving on from like Harvey, like they have Hudson on the outside, but he's their main receiver. But Harvey is what this team revolves around. And Florida defense better find him. And I can tell you that he better not let this guy beat him because he will. And if I'm on the defensive side of the football, I know where that guy is at all times, and I'm not. I'm going to find him, and my best player is going to find him, and we are going to know where he is.
This game, and we're going to talk about Norvell's future in this last part of the show, but this game is extremely important for Billy. You got to believe that if they lose this game, he doesn't make it off the football field in one piece. So I'm really interested to see. We've heard about this team being bought in. We haven't seen any guys enter to become redshirts for Florida, right? I'm really interested to see how this team responds from this bye week. We heard how hard this bye week was. Are they still bought into the staff and to Billy Napier? We're going to find out very quickly because I think everybody sees the futures are right on the wall.
One thing that does not excite me about this game is the coaching matchup. We had a fire Billy not too long ago in the stands. And I think Cody once said that Gus Malzahn is the Wheaties without the sugar to make him Frosted Flakes. So there's
Yeah, that's true. It's not neither side is very sexy today, as we would say. So, gonna be an interesting matchup at 7:45 kickoff. Love the Swamp at night. Cowboy Ty, we love you. We're gonna rock and roll. We're gonna head right into our next bit of the show, High Top Table Talk. We'll see how you vote against these two killers in our next segment. Here we go, boys. All right, no intro there. We're going to rock and roll here. Ladies and gents, we got Tim, Ty, and Cowboy Ty here with us today. Tim, this is your first time, so we'll explain the rules. And for anybody that's new to the show, we'll explain it to them as well. You guys get 3 questions. Tim, you'll go first on the first question, then Ty on the second, and then Cowboy Ty on the third question. That's how it's going to work. You get 45 seconds to give me your best response, just kind of like around the horn style. I am extremely biased. I like to be bought. Okay, you can buy this through however you can be wrong, but as long as I like your answers, that's all that matters. Okay, I'm very upfront about that. So if you want to get points, that's how you're gonna rock and roll with it. 45 seconds. I say stop when your time is up, and I think that's about it. Any questions, ladies and gents?
What are your greatest likes and greatest dislikes?
My greatest likes?
Yeah. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Trying to get a leg up. He's trying to get a leg up.
He's trying to woo me. He's trying to woo me. I love it.
He's trying to like run clock right now. It's like
I love it. We got 170 strong in here. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. It's High Top Game Day, boys and girls. First question, Tim, you are up first. Hey, we're breaking you in. Maybe I shouldn't let you go first, but you're a pro at this. I'm not even concerned about it. Who's most likely to win the Big 12 out of Colorado, who's got 1 loss but undefeated in the Big 12? Texas Tech has 1 loss but undefeated in the Big 12. Arizona, 1 loss but undefeated in the Big 12. Or Iowa State, who is undefeated across the board? Tim, you're first.
I'm going to go with Iowa State here. I bet them as a little bit of a flutter before the season started to win the Big 12. Look, this is just a team. They played last year some of the, they were one of the youngest teams in the country that played. I think one of the most freshman-laden rosters in the entire country. So a ton of experience there. Matt Campbell's great when he has a team that has experience. And I think he's doing a tremendous job so far this season. Rocco Beck, the quarterback. This is a guy that broke some of Brock Purdy's records last year. Brock Purdy's freshman records at Iowa State. So I'm going to go with them. I think they're all going to beat up on each other, but I also like Iowa State's schedule. They kind of, if they can keep it steady and avoid, kind of those spots where you go out west, come back, all that sort of stuff. I think Oklahoma State, for instance, you look at them, right? It was Utah, Kansas State, West Virginia, all in a row. Iowa State doesn't have such a thing.
I like
Deduct 7 points for over.
This guy is a pro. I mean,
you're allowed to finish a thought.
You're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah. No. That's fine. That's fine.
It's like debate rules, right? You finish the thought.
Oh Senator? Yeah. No, you're good on that. Yeah. Look, this is more warfare. Okay. Ty Cowboy Ty likes to start riling up, but that was fantastic. Love that your first one. You come out there. You're throwing Brock Purdy stats. This guy knows his stuff. I love it. Ty, how you looking, big guy?
Well,
yeah, I'm
just
no. Hold on. You're Cowboy Ty. You have to. That's a -1.
Stay up there.
This is a -1. You got to follow the rules here, okay? They're very simple, all right? You're -1 already for the day. I'm just in shambles with you right now. I can't even look at you. Can't even. I think it took you off the board. It just eliminated you. All right, go ahead. You're looking at you're banned from there for -1. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Iowa State is the move. They're 11th in total defense. I mean, you know what Matt Campbell's going to do. He's going to have a defense. I think Colorado has been highly impressive, but the thing that worries me is the lack of consistent defense. And if they play a team like a Iowa State that is having good defense, that offense is getting better week by week, are they going to be able to score consistently on them? There's the reason why I picked Colorado against UCF, because UCF's pass defense is god awful. But Iowa State is well coached. They're disciplined. I think they are absolutely in a position to take it. The only game I look at and worry about is that Utah game, because Kansas State has not impressed me yet. I think they're food as well, and I think that'll be a big win for Iowa State. But Utah, will Cam Rising be there? The guy's qualifying for AARP right now. I don't know.
The only way that Colorado plays Iowa State would be in the Big 12 championship, which is interesting because that was a one for me on Colorado, but again, they only match up as if all things go well. All right, Ty, you're starting off in a Cowboy Ty. You're starting off in a hole. Give me your best shot here.
Well, this stinks because it's a clean sweep, because I also think Iowa State is going to win the Big 12 out of these 4 teams. And the only reason I think they're going to win is because they're the better defense of all these other teams. It's not even close. And on the other side of the ball, with Rocco Becht throwing the ball to Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, both of those guys could be playing in the league. You know, they might be undrafted, but they are good enough to play in the league. And they're going to run the football. I think they have Samua over there who broke like a 70-some yarder last week. And I just think they play better defense than any of those other teams. And when you play better defense, you have a better chance to win, in my opinion. So give me Iowa State.
See, he also doesn't use all of his time too, Tim. This is why he was mad at you, because he finished early, which is that's detrimental to your score. You're just leaving time. You're leaving on the field.
My material. They took half my material.
Well, look, this is why going third
You
spot.
also should be the most prepared. You have basically 10 minutes before you have to go. Just go open another tab and put up like, you know, Rocco Becht stats under pressure in the pocket. That's how long you have.
Look, Tim's a professional, boy. I brought in a slinger here.
Hey,
I have 55 seconds of material. You all took 30.
So I vote we take another point off.
For who? Who are we taking a point off from?
Cowboy Ty, he's a Florida State fan, right?
Oh, you're right. Good point. Good
Move
point.
Florida State.
Good point. Good point. All right, next question here. We've got Ty will be first, then Cowboy Ty will be going second. If you had to pick today, right now, who would win the Heisman? Travis Hunter, Jalen Milroe, or Ashton Genty at Boise State? Ty?
Yeah, so I'm going to be realistic about this and who I think the voters would choose, and I do think it's Jalen Milroe. We know that this is a quarterback award. Whether I like it, whether y'all like it, that's just been the reality of the situation. It has been a quarterback award. When you look at Travis Hunter, phenomenal football player. I think usually, you know, I avoid generational. Damn, he's close. But they're losing a lot of games, right? Like, I don't think that they are going to come out the season unscathed. I think they'll probably have 2 more losses. You look at Genty. I was just talking to a Boise State guy the other day, and he even told me, I worry about the quality of competition, even though this guy is well on his way to breaking the rushing record. The last running back that won the Heisman was Derrick Henry.
Time.
We know what this looks like. They love giving it to quarterbacks.
I was gonna say something, but I don't want to give anything away yet. Cowboy Ty, what you got for me, big guy?
Oh, buddy, it's Travis Hunter. And if you say it's the most outstanding player in college football, it's 100% Travis Hunter, and it's not even close. I mean, he's doing things that you have never seen, and he's playing every down, maybe missing a snap or two on each side of the football. Charles Woodson won it as a DB, and he didn't play nowhere near as many offensive snaps as he's doing. Michigan was a better team than what Colorado is, don't get me wrong. But if you want to award the best college football player and someone you've never seen before, something we may never see again, Travis Hunter is definitely your guy. I think he leads them in receiving on top of playing defense better than any of the other quarterbacks that they have. It's literally insanity.
Good stuff. Tim?
Look, if it The award should go to Travis Hunter, and it should not go to Jalen Milroe. That leaves us with Ashton Genty, who has been absolutely outstanding to start this season. I would argue this. Everything you guys said is right. It is a quarterback award. It's usually the quarterback on the team with the most amount of wins. If there is a year where that doesn't happen, that would be this year, 12-team expanded playoff, where you could have a larger pool of players, larger pool of teams who just, were that 11th team in, that 10th team in. I think that is going to help expand this award and really get us deeper into really appreciating the best players in the entire country. I don't think anybody in the entire world has an answer for Genty. You could draft him right now on your fantasy team for NFL next season. That's just how good he is. But I would love to see Travis Hunter win it, because seeing him in person was outstanding.
I think, look, the biggest thing I was focused on today, Ty, you kind of went into, hey, Colorado's going to lose a few games. And that's kind of been my argument for Travis Hunter probably not winning it later on, because although, yes, the best player has always won, typically the team has a factor in that as well. But Jaden Daniels won last year with 3 losses. I see Colorado could be that 3 or 4 loss team. Yeah, I know. Look, to me, it's crazy to think that it sucks that this award has become what it is, right? Like, we're all like, it's Travis Hunter. How could you not even see that? But because it's a quarterback award, it's very unfortunate that we as a group have established that. But I think you make a good point too, Tim, with the fact that it is 12 teams. If you make the playoffs, if you're on that team, or if you're even close, you should now automatically be in the conversation. Because if you go back to Jaden Daniels, they're just on the outside looking in. So now if you make a playoff, at that point, that's the end of the season, right? But you've made it far enough to be, okay, hey, let's talk about, hey, which teams are the best? Kind of like baseball. You've got 15 teams that make it. If your team makes the playoffs, those guys are legitimately in the conversation. Once you're in the playoffs, it doesn't matter anymore. But I think that's a huge factor, and I do think that's good for the sport, because somebody like a Genty or a Travis Hunter or other positions do have an opportunity. Yeah, Cowboy Ty?
Don't forget, when Charles Woodson won that Heisman, he beat out Peyton Manning. So I'm just going to put that out there right there. Tennessee was
I don't disagree, but of the last 20 Heisman trophies, how many have gone to non-quarterbacks?
2 or 3.
Yeah, it's Derrick Henry, Devontae Smith. 4. Who are the other ones?
Reggie Bush,
Mark
Ingram, Devontae Smith. That's it. 16 have gone to quarterbacks. And I think
all 3 of those
year
guys
you could
are
have made an argument.
No, I How
agree.
many
And
teams
listen,
made the
I don't
postseason
disagree
in those years?
Well, that's a little bit harder to quantify.
He didn't win.
Oh, you just blanked him out. I mean,
screw that answer. Screw that question.
He just had enough.
He's like, I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah, thanks for joining. No, but that's a little bit harder to quantify, because you had the change from BCS to college football playoffs, right? But if we do go back and look at the Jameis Winston, Florida State playoffs, Marcus Mariota, Oregon playoffs, Derrick Henry playoffs, Lamar didn't make the playoffs, Baker Mayfield 2017 playoffs, Kyler 2018 playoffs, Joe Burrow playoffs, Devontae Smith playoffs, Bryce Young 2021. That's the year where playoffs. Caleb Williams didn't make the
playoffs. I'm thinking too. Playoffs.
Caleb Williams playoffs. I mean, let's talk about it.
Caleb Williams won.
No, that's what I'm saying. You have 2 out since the playoffs started that did not make the playoffs.
Which was Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, the last 2, right?
Okay, 3, yeah, because I didn't get to Jaden Daniels. You had Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Lamar Jackson, which is crazy.
That Lamar Jackson, you can kind of put it into that Ashton Genty category, where it was just the level of competition, their schedule, and they're just not a really great team, but he was so good. It's like he was undeniable. That's where I put Genty and Travis. I think the conversation is more versus Genty and Travis. I brought Jalen in because what he did against Georgia, and because it is a quarterback award, and because it's more sexy to give it to him, he's making an argument. I'm glad Cam Ward's been shoved back to the back of the pack, because I'm sick of hearing about that guy. Although he's playing great football, I can't give it to him yet. He hasn't done anything to make me excited.
And the round's over, right? So I'm like, my points are locked in. All right.
Yeah, your points are locked in.
Okay. So I at the end of the day, I agree with both of these guys, because I just don't know if Kalen DeBoer is going to allow Jalen Milroe to accrue the stats that he needs to. I mean, you look at Western Kentucky, he threw the ball 9 times? multiple long touchdowns, and then Bama was like, all right, pack it in. I just don't know that they're going to give him the opportunity to throw for 400 yards a game and then rush for another 100 every weekend. Jeanty is unbelievable. Travis Hunter is unbelievable. So should they win it? Probably.
We're also seeing now where they're taking more of the big games into effect. So I definitely think that helps Milroe. I don't think like it's just stats for every game anymore. Those national televised games are becoming more important when it comes down to the Heisman voting than it is for Western.
Well, that's
Kentucky.
what I think Travis will help too. They're getting a ton of big time games just because it is Colorado and they're exciting to watch. So that Kansas State game, I think, is going to be, in my opinion, the turning point. It's going to really solidify. Hey, if they go out there and win that game, and he has what he's been doing all year long, I think that would be okay. It's Travis Hunter's to lose now. That's what they're waiting on. They're waiting on a big time game, big time atmosphere, a game that nobody has them winning. Even though UCF was that, this game is one of those games. Let's go to our last question here. We're having a great time. This is fun stuff. I'm glad that this Heisman one was a good one here. This one is geared towards Cowboy Ty. We'll see how it rock and roll. This is a close one too. We're in a tight knit battle here. Last question, Cowboy Ty. You got it first. Could this be Mike Norvell's last year? I know you signed a fat contract, but this thing is so bad that FSU fans are going to be calling for his head. Am I overreacting? Or if this guy wins 2 games, could there be a legitimate conversation of like, we messed up big time?
I think this could be his final year if they don't get things going in the right direction. And the only reason I say that is because even though he did sign a huge extension, the buyout is nowhere near as big as some of these other coaches. So with that being said, the boosters might be like, hey, we screwed up, because you want to know why? Because he has a losing record without Jordan Travis as his quarterback. And that is a big factor. I said this last week that he legitimately could go give half of his paycheck to Jordan Travis, and he still would be he would still be fine. But like, Jordan Travis earned him his extension last year. We all saw that. So like, to say that he could be gone is 100% a factor if you go look at the statistics.
Tim?
It will not be his last year. He's not getting fired at the end of this year, and I'll tell you why. Because he has a scapegoat, and the scapegoat is DJ Uiagalelei. Not just because he got the decision wrong in the portal, but because DJU was not Florida State and Mike Norvell's first choice. They were in the Cam Ward sweepstakes. They're in sweepstakes for other quarterbacks in the portal. And he can say to their collective, you didn't give me the funds to get the quarterback that I wanted. So it's net 0. Let's start over next year. I get another chance. Buy me another quarterback.
Wow. Time on the clock, but he hit it with a hammer. I love it. Ty?
Yeah, I don't think that it could be his last year because of that extension, but I vehemently disagree that the reason is DJU. DJU is not a one-year player. We do not have a one-year sample size on DJU. Sure, he wanted to go get Cam Ward. He didn't get it. There are a bunch of other quarterbacks out there he could have gone, or novel concept, he could go recruit a damn high school football player, but he can't do that. He said he had a quarterback that could win the college football playoff games. Immediately after the season was over, he threw him under the bus. This is not DJU's fault, because as a quarterback whisperer, you have multiple years to look at film of DJU, and he said, yeah, that guy. It's his silly ass offense that makes absolutely no sense from a schematic standpoint. It's his inability to evaluate players. He robbed Florida State. For that, good.
Time.
What's more American than robbing an institution blind?
Ty saved it for the last round, and I love how he utilized Tim's answer to his advantage. Guy's a professional.
Well played. Well
Tim.
played.
I have one thing to say.
Go ahead.
I agree with that point. I was saying that like I agree it's not DJU's fault. I just think he has he will present it as, this wasn't my fault. This, again, I totally agree. I hope he stays there forever so Clemson can keep beating his ass like they will tonight. But I think that when they sit down in that meeting, he will say, look, I wanted Cam Ward, right? And again, whether he's telling that full story or not, I think that's what he's going to try and say. And they'll have no choice but to be like, fine, one more try.
No, listen, I agree with you, but I had to go for the W. You know what I mean? I agree with you, but I
no, you're right. Yeah.
Ty,
That's what batting last is all about. You batted last correctly.
Absolutely. Ty, give us your 30 seconds before we close it up, boys. Don't go anywhere. Ty, give us your 30 seconds of love here, baby.
Yeah, listen, great college football Saturday. Always a great time to come on here, be able to sit, talk with you, all the guests you bring on. Shout out Tim. Shout out Cowboy Ty. Cowboy. Trying to take my shine
Yes,
as just
sir.
Ty. That's ridiculous. Always a great time, man. Always look forward to Saturdays.
I love it, man. This was fantastic. Tim, I hope we didn't scare you off. I think you were fantastic. You had a blast with you today, man.
Oh, it was great. It was great being with you guys, chopping it up. I still don't know which Ty is the cowboy, or is there a cowgirl Ty?
Oh, wow. No, Cowboy Ty is very single. Cowboy Ty is very single.
No, that'll be on the show. That's gonna be my new Trumpism, cowgirl Ty.
Oh no!
I love it. Tim, tell them where they can find you, man, on every platform. I feel like you're all over my feed, whether it's through Action Sports, whether through your own thing, whether it's 90 Takes a Summer. You can't get enough Tim, whether it's TikTok, Instagram. The guy does a phenomenal job. Tell them where they can find you, man.
Thank you. Yes. I'm at Snapback Sports. You can find me. You can look up Snapback
sorry.
Sports.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It was only this summer. Yes. You can find me Snapback Sports. You can find me on Twitter at TimmyCal12, on TikTok TCali12 TCali12 with a K. Same thing with Instagram. I have the picture of the little Hermie the elf is on my profile picture. So I ain't hard to find.
So Snapback, they're the guys I'll be scrolling through. They'll do like the hey, who is this random running back? Right? There's like three guys on the couch.
That's like our filler content. If we have nothing to post, that's what we'll do. Basically, just record all that trivia stuff. It's easy.
Dude,
life,
those guys
easy,
are animals. They did the running backs, and I'm like, who? Like, there's some I'm like, all right, how do you not get that one? But like half of them, I was like, bro, I'm lost in the sauce here. Like they're ripping it off. I'm like, dude, these. I know like sports guys like that they're just like sit around and they're just like ripping names off. I'm like, dude, this is unreal. Like you're seeing his jerk. Like I love it.
The only thing I win at is like anything NHL because I'm like the only hockey guy in the office. So if we do NHL, it's a Alabama Vanderbilt blowout.
I love it. Ty, tell him, not Cowboy Ty, easy. Ty, tell him where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me. You can find me pretty much everywhere. I'm on the Bama Standard. I'm on the SEC Connect. You can find me at Around the Table Sports. That's my YouTube channel. You can find me on Bleacher Report every Friday as we do a college football pick 'em. Went 11-4 last week, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. And then you can find me Saturdays after the Alabama game where I'm on Bleacher Report once again doing the post-game content for Alabama. And just randomly, I do the SEC content for Bleacher Report as well. It just depends how frisky they're feeling.
Love it. Cowboy Ty, did we both take Syracuse for Friday night, or did you take UNLV?
I took Syracuse.
Okay. Cuse up, baby. We had that locked in there. I felt good about that. It was a tight one, but I told you I'm feeling pretty good about my picks this week.
Well, I can tell you guys can find me under the damn bridge drinking, watching Jordan Travis highlights. That's where you can find me.
I love it. I love it. Jits, you guys have been fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic Saturday. Another great slate of games. Next Saturday is going to be nuts. I'm pretty sure we have it's Oklahoma versus Texas, if I'm not mistaken, is coming on next Saturday.
Yep.
I think there is a great salute. I mean, we've been spoiled this year thus far, and I think we're going to continue to be spoiled as the season goes on, as this develops. The Big 12 has been fun to watch. The SEC is fun to watch. We've got Oregon, Ohio State next week. That will be interesting for the Big 10. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I know I did. Smash the like button, subscribe. And of course, this show is brought to you by BetUS. We'll see you boys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.